Hola clase, ¿cómo están ustedes? Lo siento por clase el jueves, no tuvimos clase porque yo tenía muchos problemas con el horario, la tecnología y otras cosas. So, hey everyone, sorry about class for Thursday. Had lots of problems with scheduling, technology, y yo tenía a mi niño de 4 años y mi niña de 1 año aquí conmigo solo. So I have my 4-year-old boy and my 1-year-old girl here with me by myself. I have a window. My wife is taking the kids out. And so I don't always have the kids with me, but when I do, it seems to be when I need to record, right? It's kind of a strange situation. So you've been wondering, hopefully you haven't gotten too frantic about, oh, what do we do for the next few days? Uh, do go by what you see in Canvas. Either the horario that I've placed here, which kind of can be a weird matrix, or by wherever you see a due date, right? And so what you've turned in already are the prueba de repaso y la discusión. You've done that already. And so now you have the lectura, escritura y prueba de unidad uno. So really quickly, I want to tell you what we're going to do for the next minute or so. I'm going to focus on lectura y escritura. I want you to be sure about that. That is really the ultimate goal, one of the ultimate goals for learning Espanol in an academic setting. You want to be able to read and interpret literature. And then you want to be able to write about it, right? And of course, if you can do all that, you can probably talk about it. That comes with practice, of course. And so before we do that, I want to talk about prueba de unidad uno. This prueba, it mainly covers what we are talking about in Unidad Uno concerning Español en los Estados Unidos. So you want to go to your libro de texto, acceso. I don't feel quite right putting the examen or the prueba on video. I don't think you all are going to go sell it or anything. I just feel like ethically it's not the best thing for me to do. But it's really not long. It's not long like a final exam. It's not as long as the prueba de repaso. But I'm going to show you where you really want to go. You have looked at aperturas and unidad uno. Also, you want to go to almanaque, and you want to click on Los Estados Unidos. That's the main one. Click on this one, read through it to help you with the answers in la prueba. And also Hispanos y Latinos en esta sección. I also think it's good to go ahead and read about los Mexicoamericanos. Cubano-Americanos, that's important. Centroamericano-Americanos, Puerto Ricanos, Dominicano Americanos, all of those are important. But the closest one to us aquí in Oklahoma is going to be Mexicano Americanos. Okay, so I'm going through this pretty fast. This is like the 5th or 6th take I've done with this. There's been so many problemas con tecnología. So you want to make sure to access acceso to help you on the prueba de unidad uno. Okay, so here we go. Let's go to La Casa on Mango Street. So what I'm going to do, I think it's fair to go ahead and give you a quick overview, maybe even a bit of traducción, a bit of translation for how to get through this cuento. It's really not very long, at least the segment that we have here. Esa es una casa en un barrio urbano. This is a kind of a replica of what La Casa de Mango Street probably looks like. This is written by Sandra Cisneros, poeta y novelista Mexicoamericana. And she is really the protagonista. She's the protagonist in this story. So she's kind of giving an autobiographical account of her childhood. And she starts off talking about how they moved from house to house in this first paragraph. And they finally have La Casa en Mango Street. They don't have to pay rent. It's theirs, right? And so as you go through the story, you'll see descriptions of the house and how their parents would promise them, we're going to live in a house like this. We're going to live in a big house. There's going to be, here it says, nuestra casa sería, our house would be, blanca, rodeada de árboles, un jardín enorme y el pasto creciendo sin cerca. Esa es la casa de la que hablaba papá cuando tenía un billete de lotería. This is the house that her dad will talk about when he got a lottery ticket, right? They're going to have a house with a large pasture, and there wouldn't be a fence, and it'd just be really grand. And so she comes back to reality. It really wasn't like that. So los ladrillos se hacen pedazos. The bricks were crumbling. En algunas partes la puerta del frente se ha hinchado. The door was swollen. Tanto que uno tiene que empujar fuerte para entrar. Just so many things wrong with this house, right? But it was theirs, right? And so she felt pretty good about it until this monja, this nun, it's not a bad word. Monja is actually a good word, but the monja, she acts really, really, high and mighty. And she says to the little girl, ¿Dónde vives? Preguntó. Where do you live? She asked. Allí, dije, señalando arriba. I said, pointing up to the third floor. ¿Vives allí? She said, allí. Tuve que mirar a donde ella señalaba. So, the nun was like, you live there? And the nun was like pointing, and she's like, yeah, yeah. And the nun again says, ¿Vives allí? Almost in a way, to make the little girl feel bad about, I mean, she's a little girl. She can't, she doesn't have a job. She can't earn money legally. I mean, this is 1960s Chicago, so it's not that long ago. So el modito en que lo dijo me hizo sentirme una nada. The way she said it made me feel like nothing, right? Like a nothing. that means made her feel, just really bad. So that's kind of how the story ends. This is part of a larger story. But when you finish reading it, you want to answer these cinco preguntas, okay? Número uno, ¿dónde vivía la narradora antes de Mango Street? Where she lived before Mango Street. That's in the first paragraph, first couple. Número dos, ¿por qué tuvieron que salir del apartamento de Loomis? She talks about some problems with the apartment in Loomis. That's a section. I don't know Chicago. Maybe you all know Chicago. It's either a street or a section. It's not really important to decipher it. It's just that Loomis is a different place. Número tres, ¿cómo es la casa que sus padres le prometieron a la narradora? What's the house like that her parents promised her? I gave that description earlier, right? Número cuatro, ¿cómo es en realidad la casa en Mango Street? What's the house in Mango Street really like? Y número cinco, ¿qué le preguntó la monja a la narradora? Okay, so you do want to go through that. Contesten estas preguntas con frases y oraciones completas. So answer these questions with complete sentences. That's the most important thing. I want to see how you express what you are thinking, right? No es tan importante ser exactamente correcto porque hay interpretaciones distintas. So it's not the most important thing to be exactly correct because there are different interpretations. If you go on in Espanol, which I think all of you should, you find that you'll have different ways of expressing subjective truths, right? And so if you can express it well, that will go over well with the profesor or the profesora. Bien, so I will stop here. Remember, you have those things due. You have lectura y escritura, answer the 5 questions after you read, and then prueba de unidad 1, don't forget that. These are due lunes, el 13, y martes, el 14 de febrero. So I'm going to send another video out on martes because I think with this format, I want us to feel like we're not just kind of floundering out there, just kind of being tossed around by the wind. I want us to feel like we're actually making some progress, and so hopefully we feel that. The clase that I thought we were going to have to miss, el 9 de marzo, was actually el 9 de febrero. So it turned out technology would not allow us to have it anyway. So anyway, that's behind us. So we shouldn't have any more missed classes. I don't think so. I would like to know, last thing, when you all can meet. Ideally, once in febrero, once in marzo, and once in abril. To at least meet together to get some semblance of how this goes. This is the first time I've really done this format, and it feels weird to me. I think we should actually be on campus for some length of time. Bien, so if you have preguntas about anything, just let me know. And I hope to see you all en clase el jueves. Hasta luego.